Today, we're diving into the dark side of Shaq, and what better way to start than his feud with a man who he won 3 straight NBA championships with. After leading the Magic to the 95 finals, Shaq turned down a $54 million extension, calling it a lowball offer, and instead demanded a whopping $115 million. But considering that he had what many would consider an unstoppable build and could elevate any team's performance by his mere presence on the court, any team in the league would have given him anything in order to have him play on their roster. And the 96 Lakers, who were in a pretty tough transition after the Showtime era of Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and James Worthy, something with a $120 million offer to grab the big man. At the same time, they brought in the 17-year-old Kobe Bryant, who was straight out of high school after he was drafted by the Hornets and traded over. From the outset, they looked like the perfect 1-2 punch, and that was definitely the case as they went on to win 3 straight NBA titles and created timeless highlight reels. Their 2001 playoff run is still seen as one of the most dominant ever, losing only a single game the whole postseason as they earned an astonishing 15-1 record. All the while, both of them stacked up All-NBA defensive team honors along the way. But the truth inside the Lakers locker room was a lot messier. During the championship stretch, the two superstars would constantly clash heads, even getting into physical altercations during practice sessions. There's a few reasons for this. Kobe, for one, was already getting a reputation as a ball hawk. His style of play often meant that he rarely passed the rock, which quickly became a problem for Shaq. And it was long before the big man dubbed his new teammate so bold, meaning someone who flashes their skills, plays flashy, and focuses more on style than teamwork. But in Kobe's defense, Shaq couldn't shoot to save his life, and in turn, it made sense that he wasn't as eager to pass him the ball, unless there was a clear and open lane for a dunk. Like many centers who play style relies on their explosiveness in the paint, Shaq's inability to make shots outside of it was an issue for Kobe to deal with. In fact, throughout his entire NBA career, Shaq missed 5,317 free throws, making him the second NBA player with the most missed free throws in history. And while you might expect that the Superman was gonna at least work on his skills, Shaq couldn't care less for reasons he internally rationalized.
We talking about practice? Did I work hard in practice? No, never. And let me tell you why. The guy that I'm playing against, they're under me. So to try to show that they're worthy of being an NBA player, they would touch me up. So it's my philosophy, I'm not going to get touched up twice. I'm not going to get beat up in practice, and I'm not going to get beat up in the game.
While Kobe had to spend 10 hours every day just to maintain his performance, Shaq's biggest advantage was simply his size, which let him bulldoze anyone in his path. But that difference in work ethic quickly turned into a problem that was a nightmare to solve. When Shaq couldn't move at full force, he was basically useless on the floor, and that's exactly what happened in 2001, when a sore foot kept him out for about of the regular season, and even sidelined him from the All-Star game. The pain grew even worse throughout the Lakers' playoff run in the summer of that year. But during the summer break, Shaq would go on vacation while Kobe kept training hard in the gym. Then, when it was the time to get back in the game, Shaq would return overweight and out of shape. With all that extra load on the sore foot, things started to get ugly real quick, and Shaq wouldn't be able to perform on the court like he used to. At this point, Kobe felt like he was basically carrying the Lakers all alone. And to make matters even worse, Shaq delayed the operation until he had checked out all the options and spoke with a number of doctors, which means he wouldn't even play at all, missing a complete 15 games. And what's even crazier is that Shaq didn't seem concerned about his situation, often making jokes out of it. I'm a big 18-wheeler and one of my wheels aren't working, which means I can go, but I'm getting the air in the tire. I mean, knowing you are a core player on the team and not taking yourself seriously was not a good look. But the Diesel would even go as far as claiming as he was right to get surgery during the season. Since I suffered the injury on company time, why shouldn't I also be able to get surgery and do recovery on company time? Nobody is played more basketball than we have in the last 3 years. So if I had to do it all over again, I would do exactly what I did. Making this type of statement without any remorse was wild, especially considering that Kobe, who was just as important to the team, had previously stayed in the games with even more serious injuries. I've played with a broken hand, a sprained ankle, a torn shoulder, a fractured tooth, a severed lip, a knee the size of a softball. I don't miss 15 games because of a toe injury that everybody knows wasn't that serious in the first place. And when Kobe finally got fed up with Shaq's excuses and was all over his aunties, he straight up called him out for his lousy work ethic.
He said that Shaquille O'Neal, he was referring to, he said, the guy selling donuts at the 7-Eleven had more pride in his job than Shaq did. And this was the same interview that he had gone public calling him fat and lazy.
And when Shaq finally saw the interview, he was furious and even threatened to unalive the furious star.
I called Shaq before this interview came out to give him a heads up, because I really liked Shaq and I enjoyed covering him, and we had a terrific relationship, and he didn't want to respond. And then it came out and he threatened to kill Kobe the next day. In fact, they put in a metal detector over there, and Kobe jumped up and said, "Let's fight."
In a recent interview before he passed, eventually Kobe admitted that he knew exactly what to expect when he initially made the remarks in the original interview.
I knew the fire that I lit. I knew what I said, and he knew what he said. You knew what you said, and you said, "Okay, this is it. It's coming to a head. We're gonna go in here. We're gonna be grown men about it. We're gonna fight it out. And then what comes out of it comes out of it. And that's just is what it is at that point."
Although the fight never happened as planned, Shaq still wasn't entirely cool with Kobe, and he made it obvious Grandmamba was wrapped up in legal troubles. For those who don't know, Kobe Bryant was once accused of raping a woman in July 2003 when a 19-year-old hotel employee in Edwards, Colorado, accused the NBA star of assault. A year later, the criminal charges against Bryant were promptly dropped after the woman decided not to testify, although she later filed a civil suit, which was settled privately for an undisclosed amount in March 2005. The whole thing led to one of the darkest times of Kobe's career, and is part of the reason why he eventually dubbed himself as a Black Mamba. Afterwards, back to Shaq. After not supporting him through that tough time, Kobe understandably thought it was strange for someone who's often referred to as his big brother to unfortunately not live up to the title. He's not my quote-unquote big brother. A big brother would have called to lend his support this summer. I heard absolutely nothing from him. I spoke to Devin, Rick, Mitch, Phil, and our owner Jerry Bartz, and Shaq's owner Uncle Jerome called and left 3 messages. So did a lot of coaches. Michael Jordan, who didn't even have my home phone, tracked it down to lend his support. So did Tiger Woods, but that my so-called big brother, I heard nothing. At this point, it's obvious that the dude couldn't remain on the same team anymore, leaving the Lakers with a difficult decision of choosing which one of the superstars they would carry for the future of the franchise. And they finally came to a conclusion after losing to the Detroit Pistons in the 2004 NBA Finals, which Bryant made it clear that he doesn't want to play with Shaq anymore. I ain't playing with that again. After getting traded to the Miami Heat in 2004, Shaq still wasn't done with tormenting the Black Mamba, often telling the public that Kobe wouldn't win a championship without him. This would seem true for the first couple of years, as Shaq would pack his 4th ring without Kobe in 2006. He was then wrapped in at the nightclub those days after Kobe and the Lakers suffered a brutal loss to the Boston Celtics in 2008.
Kobe, how my ass tastes. Everybody, Kobe, how my ass tastes. Yeah, you couldn't do it without me. Kobe, you couldn't do it without me. Kobe, you can't do it without me. Everybody, Kobe, tell me how my ass tastes. Yeah, you can't do it without me. Yeah, you can't do it without me. Yeah, you can't do it without me. Everybody.
However, fueled by his hatred for Shaq, Kobe would lock in and lead the Lakers to back-to-back championship titles the next 2 years, proving that he could indeed win without Shaq. And he would revel in this accomplishment when they linked up for an interview years later.
Do you think I was pissed when you got number 5?
Of course you were.
Oh,
No doubt.
I tore my house up.
No doubt. I bet you did.
No, I went crazy. Because when I got 4 and you got 4, I was like, hey, I got 4, he got 4, let's trade. When you got that 5th one, and then, hold on, you said, I just wanted to get one more.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
TVs.
Yeah. And I said, you know what? Ain't nothing he can do about it either.
We know what it means as a team, but what about individually for you?
Just got one more to Shaq. So you can take that to the bank.
But despite being proven wrong over the years, Shaq wouldn't miss out on a chance to taunt Kobe.
I definitely did the same to Kobe. I drove that, like, all that practicing, like 20 hours a day, that's because I told him he wasn't.
The relationship between Shaq and Kobe could best be summarized by the statement from Jim Gray, who wrote a book about their dynamic.
They had obviously tremendous highs with those three-peat championships, and to see that excellence of one of the greatest tandems in the history of basketball, but they also had some really low lows.
Fortunately, before Kobe's tragic passing, the duo had the chance to settle their differences and fight peace. Also, we thought, because after Kobe's death, Shaq still has this weird obsession with subtly discrediting Kobe.
You don't think I could have won 3 with T-Mac? I think I could have.
Yeah, for sure.
T-Mac was a bad boy.